This is Star Island Calling by Reverend Wendy Bartell. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Excuse me, who is the we? And what do you mean when you say truths and these? Ministry and majesty condoning supremacy throughout millennia see. In manifest destiny and colonizing from the redwoods to the Gulf Stream, whose land can this really be? Unlearning centuries of practices of domination, invading and making ministrations with lots of condemnations of those who otherwise may make an oblation to the ancestors and the earth and the rhythm nations for generations and so-called civilizations, rising and falling, so rarely calling us to our best selves. Even as we sought a better life, instead a replication of systems of subjugation leading to the ruination of all. As if we had to ration our sources rather than set a new course for the distribution of soul force, where they are actually needed. Our norms are not normal if they leave some out. Let's make explicit our agreements so we may all get free. The delicacy of the taste of fresh joy on our lips, dripping with beloved community, speaking our heart's deepest longings. Our habit may be to weaponize long-held habits that demonize. Perhaps this changing could be part of the resistance, the persistence and insistence for interdependence, practicing rituals and building resilience, each of our gifts used to make a difference, that we might just choose once and for all to answer love's call. Offer a faithful hand when we fall, especially if we're in it for the long haul. It is time now that we thrive. Let us choose to pick up the best of our hearts. This has been a tough week, nestled into a very hard few months. Just a few days ago, I received an email from Love Resists, a joint venture between the Unitarian Universalist Association and the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, which started with these words. This week, we heard about Amy Cooper, and then George Floyd, and then Tony McDade. All of this just weeks after we heard about the murders of Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. Weeks after a series of armed white militias confronted local police at state capitals across the country without consequence, without arrest, without death. We also continue to reckon with the hearing that over 103,000 human lives have been lost from the coronavirus pandemic, a virus which has disproportionate impact on the Black community. Do we hear enough is enough? Do we hear the cries of resistance in this moment, stating that each of us is worthy and all have dignity? I was in my kitchen just yesterday morning, one of these cool mornings we've had after those hot days. It was especially delightful to put on my vest, a favorite cozy vest, like a blanket, part of my morning ritual. After a little bit of work, Aaliyah came down to start her day, bleary with sleep, slowly coming to life. And for some reason, she got very excited at the vision of my vest and the snaps on it in particular. She came over and grabbed the snaps and pulled them apart. "Snap out of it," she cried. And then she snapped the snaps back together and again squealed with hilarity as she undid them vigorously and cried again, "Snap out of it." And for some reason, this spoke to me of this moment. The sometimes complacent haze which can descend upon us. Snap out of it. Remember this desperate hour. Remember this precarious democracy. Remember the cries of our brothers and sisters, all those who are suffering. Snap out of it. Wake up. and seek that awakening for all beings. Buddhist teacher Angel Kyoto Williams says it beautifully. She says, "No one who has ever touched liberation could possibly want anything other than liberation for everyone." We will dive into a beautiful article she wrote, "Your Liberation is on the Line," in the service on Sunday. But for now, this simple, elegant, enormous idea: our liberation is tied up, inextricably linked to the liberation of all. It's like Wendy said in the poem at the very beginning. Perhaps this changing could be part of the resistance, the persistence and insistence on interdependence, so that we might all get free. Dear, sweet people, this moment was already hard, and now all this. But this is where we are, and this is our path. In a 1946 interview, the theologian Karl Barth said that he told his ministers when he was training them to have a Bible in one hand and the newspaper in the other. I've always loved this. Certainly, this is the groundedness of our faith. We do not seek to learn and grow in some far-off, distant way to attain levels of understanding on some theoretical and mystical plane divorced from our day-to-day lives and this real world. But rather, this is our path. And for many of us, this is a hard one right now. But here we are, all wrapped up. Our liberation all wrapped up together, all trying to be free, to be clear, to be loving and true, to be vehicles for good in this world, to bring healing and wisdom, to bring justice and peace. And so, dear First Church, pay attention. If you are stirred in this moment, pay attention to that. If you are driven to act, to rise up, to learn, to mobilize, do that. There are vigils and trainings. There is voter enfranchisement to be worked for and won. There are systems to be toppled, illusion to dispel. Pay attention. And if you are on the brink or past it, take care. Slow down. Pace yourself. Eat something delicious and wholesome, or just one of those adjectives if both is complicated to achieve. Sleep. Reach out. I am here. This was already an overwhelming moment for some of us, and things have gotten only more intense. I promise there will be work to be done once you're feeling more yourself. I will be sure to save some for you. Pay attention to where you are, to all that is stirring within you. Like Wendy said, it is time now that we thrive. Choose to take up the best of your heart. So much love to you all.